Stealer's gone. I guess Sven kind of still is in the pool, but they've already gotten rid of a lot of the big counters. Yeah, no, that's what I'm saying. But
well, coming into this series, you know, we focused quite a bit about this, the fact that every time that we see Nigma come out with a victory is when Miracle pops up. So what's the Miracle hero here that he can pop off on? We've already seen any mage going out, the Phantom Assassin is gone, they've got no Drow Ranger, they've got no Faceless Void.
Terrorblade
is the hero?
I think so.
You have to think about egg hitters as well, though, right?
I like Terrorblade just because I don't think they have any damage to burst him down. Like if it goes to 25 minutes, 30 minutes, like once the Terrorblade has Scotty, BKB, I think he will just be fine.
Yeah.
And I think the Viper is gonna be mid.
Yep, yeah. Weehaw special.
Yeah, he just wants to dominate this storm, not die too easily against the Clockwork.
And with the Weehaw, like, he plays this style that enables Miracle to play these more, you know, super late game style of carries. When it works for Weehaw, because he makes all of these super aggressive plays, it pays off and it looks amazing. When it doesn't and he gets ganked, a lot of people are, you know, saying, you know, we 2-2 and that sort of stuff as well. But it's the role that he plays in the team. Maybe, you know, just changing his hero pool slightly to be able to provide that with a little bit more of variability might be the big difference for him. But, you know, Viper's a good pick into the Spectre. It's a staple for him. It's a lane winner. I'm not hating it.
Only problem that I see with Nigma is like their heroes doesn't have good synergy. Like all these Lina, Snapfire, Viper, they're like a lane winning hero, but Viper needs some sort of like disables to actually like survive in the middle of the team fights. But what's their disable?
I mean, they've got RP, they've got Light Strike Array, they've got Cookie, right?
Yeah.
So,
but yeah, I'm not really convinced. Like I think Radiant Drop is like a lot better, and especially when it goes to the last pick for Nigma, I think they have been a bit dangerous.
Yeah, and Winstrike have the last pick overall as well, so they're going to be able to respond. Assuming that it is the 3 that they still need for their team in the offlane on Winstrike, they'll be able to respond to the Miracle carry.
Well, yeah, with the Darkseer and the Batrider ban, I imagine DK Phogos is the focus here for Nigma. Is there anything?
I have a feeling that Miracle's aiming for Chaos Knight, but
okay.
I think that's a bait. Like I think that's the reason why they're banning Batrider and Darkseer here. But I think even if he still picks CK, like not against the counter, I don't think it's a good.
What about something like a Monkey King or a Slark? We haven't seen Slark this tournament just yet. What about MK? We've been seeing a little bit here with the Magnus being picked up a little bit. Nick shows that it does have a lot of prowess. So, do you think that that's a good enough carry matchup against the Storm and the Spectre, who, you know, if they don't have good starts, it's going to take a little while for Winstrike timings, right?
Yeah, so like on the Winstrike's weakness is all about this laning phase. I think as long as they have like, even if they have this bad laning phase, if they somehow get these kills off, I think it could be like fine.
Yeah, removing the Troll Warlord, yeah, don't mind that. Heroes that,
Radiant
again, it's an egg hitter, you can get lucky with the runes.
Oh, Sven!
You said you hated it.
I hated it.
What specifically do you hate about?
It's just so slow, and then like once the Spectre has this, all the Spectres building Blade Mail and like all these stat items, so him to not like die. Plus, Clockwork, Storm, and Phoenix are a lot easy target for event actually. Just even if you do this Superman thing with the Agony.
So what do you feel Winstrike need right now? They've got about 40 seconds left to make their last pick. Bit of lockdown. Like, yeah, you could go the Venomancer and kind of stop the Sven from doing a little in lane. Mars is still in the pool. We've seen how effective Mars Phoenix is. Bristle against Viper though?
And the Sven?
Yeah.
Isn't Sven like the counter to Bristle?
I mean, it goes both ways.
Yeah.
Like any.
I want to see a Mars.
A Mars?
The Mars is banned.
Is it?
What about Centaur?
Nah, I don't like
first
Centaur. What's a
2K
good carry? What's a good offlane hero? Like Nigma bans so many offlanes, so there's not many good ones. And okay, I'm convinced.
Do you think Winstrike?
You think this
I
is
forgot
too
about
greedy?
this hero for some reason. Like, why was this hero never banned? Like, okay, they're heroes.
Have a Viper QO, isn't it?
I don't sense. No, but what if you get the stacks and then you apply the break? You still have the stacks. It just stops them from being applied.
From
Nigma
Vipers, I
bans so
know.
many offlanes, so there's not many good
Very smart. We smart here. All right, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we've seen the drafts here from Nigma and Winstrike. I want to hear your thoughts before we get the predictions and make it snap.
I think.
Can't tell me what to do.
Yes, I can.
I think I have to go with Winstrike.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
I've been baited way too many times by Nigma. I think I'm like 1 and 5 predicting their games.
Well,
or
they're
something
also
like that.
1 and 2 right now, so I think a lot of people betting on Nigma are not very happy with their performance so far. So is this another game we're
5
expecting
seconds
or we're
remaining.
hoping for Weeha to pop off?
I think this is a perfect game that Weeha can pop off. If he kills like Storm or 1 or 2 times, like their whole team has to react that they don't have that strong laning phase. So if that happens, Nigma will probably secure it. But
Yeah, it's kind of going both ways again. The Viper to counter the Spectre, but Spectre's great against all of these stuns as well.
Yeah.
So as long as you don't have that break on her, she'll do all right, but it's a lot of lockdown on Nigma. It could really go either way.
Now let's see if it does go either way. Let's see if Weeha can pop off here for Nigma and put them at a 1 map advantage here. So we're going to leave it with our newcasters here for series number 2. It's going to be Pixie and Foggo.
Here we go. A very important series for both of these teams, Winstrike and Nigma. We've heard it from the panel. They seem to be liking what Winstrike's got going, despite what was a very confident and bold opening to the draft. Right, they came in with a second pick, Storm. Do you like what they've ended up with, or do you think Nigma's countered that sufficiently?
I think it can look a little bit greedy on the side of Winstrike. I think Nigmas can also have a lot of greediness, but they can fight a lot with their 4. And it's they see the Storm early on, and then also there's a Spectre pick, which I feel like it doubles down and makes the Viper even better, right? Because now you're better in mid game versus Spectre, and you're good in lane versus Storm. So I kind of do like what Nigma's got. They've got like a plethora of stuns where I feel like they can play pretty aggressively, and they actually have a cookie target now with this Sven in the front line.
But look at this, it's the classic. You know, it's the classic. It's like, what? Why would they pick Storm second? It's a master tier Storm.
Yep, there you go.
Relboy's got the level 25 Storm, so this man knows what he's doing. To the point where he obviously would have been telling his team, hey, we gotta grab this early, and they did. So we'll see. I mean, it's sort of Storm as we've seen, you know, it hasn't been great, especially on some of the previous tournaments, the overall win rate, but we've seen some wins with it here. I mean, where is the hero sort of at the moment? Do you think it is a hero that could be getting back to the point where teams that do have the Storm player could just slap it out in the first 2 picks?
I think so. I think if you're I think if you're very confident in it, sure. I'm still not crazy about it. I think it's still very volatile is the problem. Because you can just get counteracted by just like a death ball, and then your hero doesn't contribute too much into massive team fights and stuff like that. So we'll see if it works. This game he's playing into a lot of stuns. So I think it could be pretty tough for the Storm Spirit.
That's because for me, that's definitely one of the big strengths you see from Nigma's lineup. The fact that they do have that break and they've got a lot of ways to stun them and hold
Look
them.
at Yamich.
Top lane, Yamich, he's going to go down first blood. GH, he'll be able to claim it. I mean, this is the thing, right? You're going to have these heroes that I think early on are going to be incredibly potent. I mean, we'll see if they sort of stick with the 2 supports up here, but if they do, this top tri-lane from Nigma is very deadly.
I was going to say, this is something I like that I feel like teams should always do actually versus Timbersaw, especially if you have triple stun, triple burst, triple nuke. Kill this Timber twice. Kill him 1 or 2 times in lane. Then he actually just can't apply as much pressure onto your carry. He has to be a little bit more scared.
He knows, look at him.
This is happening.
He knows. He's being very careful of DK.
And my control bottom, like he's not at risk of really dying down here versus Spectre Phoenix. He can actually get something out of this lane the first few levels. He'll get zoned a bit after the harassment starts to come out, but you know, they can't chain stun him or anything along those lines. He'll get his XP.
This is smart from Winstrike, though. You know, they sort of do. You know, DK's playing it said he knows that they're hunting for the kill. Whilst they're in position for the kill, Yamich is able to get away with just grabbing those creeps and getting to get this lane in a bit of a better position for the Timber. May have stuck around a little too long, though, Timber here, as they actually now are having a chance of closing in on him. If they have the damage, they certainly do. So as careful as he was being earlier on, I mean, you can tell he definitely knew something was up, still gets caught out by him. And I guess at the end of the day, if you're going to stay anywhere close to that lane, these 3 heroes will eventually find the kill.
Yeah, heavy burst damage with him. And look at this, Yamich as well is gonna die. The Blightstone damage, the Blightstone minus armor is enough with extra right clicks, and Iron Man doesn't get the full catch. But they have a huge creep wave pushing into them. This is very problematic. This is a level 1 Timber getting absolutely nothing up here because of this tri-lane. And the Clockwork too, unable to really get much of anything on the map. This is the perfect setup here for Nigma. And now they're gonna swap. Damage is done. You've already shut down this Timber here. Now he's gonna start to get something once you get the level 2, level 3. But you've already secured Miracle's lane to a point where he's gonna be able to back up and farm. Even if he gets pressured, he'll be able to get away with this greedy spin.
Looking at the mid lane so far, we've got 11-4 versus 10-2. I mean, it's sort of expected. I mean, I thought Storm was sort of on level 1 has issues against the Viper, but Relbel, he's done a great job on the first few waves, grabbing fantastic CS in this matchup.
He's forcing the wave in. He's having to use extra money on regen, but look how he rushed the bottle rather than going for any nulls. It's all about just spamming your static on the wave push game, because Viper can't actually spam the wave out. So you'll get your last hits, you'll get extra harassment done on you, but you'll come out in a pretty decent spot as a Storm. Playing it very well. But now he gets pushed out.
Sure, what's this sort of this point? I mean, how does this sort of work for him? He's got to sort of wait for Weehar to push it in and then Weehar to head away from the lane before he goes back to farm mid.
Yep, just every time he gets pushed in, but Weehar, I think he's just going to power deny the wave, keep it on his side, keep it right inside the middle of the river so Storm doesn't get double. And eventually I think Weehar's going to get early boots and start chasing him out of the jungle. I think after he gets his magic on, get those boots, you can start to apply more pressure. Yeah, perfect setup here for Nigma. I love that they did this. I always want teams to do that versus Timbersaw, especially if you have triple stun. Just try lane. The first 2 minutes, and you don't lose anything out of it.
Yeah, for sure. I think you yourself have an offlaner that is also going to be fine, more fine than say a Timber that gets shut down at the start, right? Magnus he's always going to be able to catch up through the jungle, just offers so much stars to empowering down the line.
Absolutely. He's getting his stuff top now, but look at where Miracle is because of the way that they set up the lane. He's just farmed way more comfortable rather than being sat low HP always versus this Timber that we see happen a lot versus Drake.
Yeah, John, and I guess, you know, they're still not going to kill the Timber, right? These two heroes aren't going to be able to burst him at this stage, but as you say, definitely the threat has been reduced. Still, a bit of burst onto Miracle, but he's happy with the strength being taken out to start to sour things up, and does have a very sizable wave coming into him under the tower, so the farm will continue very nicely for him. We'll see over towards mid. Yamich did come over to see if he can sap some of the XP, whilst, as you say, you know, Weehar does continue to just keep this lane held in specific position, making it unlikely that Relbel's going to be able to ever really swing over and get too much from under his tower, but that's fine. Relbel, he's just rotating around these camps and he's keeping up with the jungle farm.
Yeah, Yamich checks the ruin to make sure he gets that DD, fills up his bottle. He's still going to be able to jungle phase. We, of course, going to hit 6 faster, but you'll see the farm it's not too far off when Storm's able to do this with the Revenants and just being able to stack camps as well. It actually matches farm just is a bit under level. And we see bounty runes coming out. We should see Nigma get at least 3 of them here because they have this Storm Spirit that has to play a little bit more defensively, so they will be able to claim that. He's actually taking this downtime, just hitting the mid tower. So pre-catapult wave, he's actually getting a little bit of damage in. All that adds up. See if the rotation with this catapult wave is right now. It doesn't seem to be the case.
I mean, sort of for this clock for Yamich, where's sort of his best bet to have an impact early on? I feel like, you know, mid's a bit of a danger zone going into this Viper. It's very unlikely you're really able to tackle Weehar unless he's vastly out of position. And then the other lanes, right, well, where do you sort of go? Do you look towards Mike, try to skewer? Top lane is always going to be very defended. It seemed hard for the early game of this clock.
Playing around mid is the right choice though. Sitting around the ruins and stacking camps, because then if Viper contests rune, you two can actually kill the Viper. A clockwork in Storm, that even though this Viper is massive, you know, you do have a shot of at least bringing him down with the rotation. Right now it's only level 2 on the clock though. He's actually pushing Rebel all the way out. Just die.
We're going to see an attempt on the DK Progress as well, as you said. He does. Nothing could be done by Yamich. He's running away. And top lane, they also get the kill on the Timber. They get both of them. As off to a very good start here in this first game, and 6 minutes in, 5-0, 2k lead on them, and as you can see, just complete free farm for both Weehar and Miracle.
And it's a cool move, you know, instead of making the move big with the catapult, they make it top. They can still pressure this tower versus Timber, and bringing the 3 heroes gives them that damage. Lina gives you that extra magic damage to deal with this Timber so early. He doesn't have a rain drop.
Yamich, he's trying for tower, and now he's not going to get it. It's done in position. Nigma just before the minute mark, taking that top tier 1 tower away.
And they're going to stack their hard camp really quickly for Miracle to farm. Yeah, very nicely enabled here. And Mike control. Look at this. Level 5 and almost 5.5, and he's been left most of the time alone bottom. He had a little bit of help from GH for about a minute and a half or two. But yeah, you have to be extremely happy if you're on Sunday with 3k gold lead here off the bat.
Big. And
you're the team with the Sven is the big thing too. That Sven's gonna go and hit the jungle and farm at a much faster pace than Spectre.
oh yeah,
And Winstrike slow them down. And they actually look to prep for that area.
especially when Miracle's going this Midas build. Gonna,
Yeah.
you know, rushing towards it. He gets that at a good time. Winstrike, as you said, they're heroes. I mean, sure, Spectre's going to be playing the farm game, but the rest of them are going to rely on action being
Dire
found. And
structures are fortified.
so far, just unable to get a single kill against Nigma's line at mid lane. Cookie setup. Is it enough? Not quite. Quite, just a little bit too far out of range. Yeah, you couldn't quite reach in to set up a light strike, but still, it's Relball being forced back to base and space there for Nigma to really do damage to this tier 1. Again, very early pressure from Nigma this time.
Dire's top tower is under
I mean,
attack.
Weeha's level 8. He's almost got his Atos finished. Versus this Storm, versus this Spectre, versus him. Actually, all 3 heroes.
They're going to try and go. We have the backer behind him. Can they burst him? Bolt comes in as well. Good cogs from Yamich, splits them apart, and that will set them up to get the kill. Yamich, will he live? He won't. He does die to poison. They got what they came for. They've set up for the Viper, and they also are able to get aggressive child involved. So we hard down. Takes a lot, but they finally get them this game.
And they get the tower top. Bogus with that space. He's able to finally take it out at D6. Miracle doesn't want to lane up there. Beautiful cogs. I love when I see Clockworks do that. In middle too, you get pushed back onto the high ground.
Oh yeah, you're dumb.
There's no help. There's no help. No help at all.
So of course, just pick up the urn as soon as you can this game. Definitely a tough start for Winstrike. You're seeing that they're really having to be clever about how they do go about making plays. As certainly have a lot more limitations compared to the heroes that Nigma have right now, and with regards to the stuns and setups that there are.
Yeah, just a lot harder for them to execute theirs. Sure. Once they start getting the 6s, the Clockwork, the Phoenix, that's going to make the team fights a lot easier for them to set up, but I still just see this chain stun, and I see there's a Snapfire versus Phoenix. Sure, he doesn't have the little shredder yet, but there's always going to be that availability for when Egg goes down. They don't have stuns to stop it. There's just not that many on their draft to stop these heroes from hitting the Egg. There's a Lina and a Snapfire. That Egg is not going to go off.
What a mind shot. Trying to set up Wonder to Galalis. Force out the dive. Weehar's in position to wait for him. Takalis, he's off to the side, but actually doesn't have enough mana for the TP straight up. So it's going to fly around. Does have the stick charges, and that will give him enough to TP out when he sees fit. So Nigma pushing him away from the tower. They
under
can
attack.
put this pressure onto the tier 1. And of course, whilst this happens, Miracle's getting all the space in the world, has finished off his Midas on the Sven, and will continue to have free roam of his whole jungle really up here. Very unlikely that Winstrike look to invade anytime soon.
Very fortunate that they blocked these camps, though. I think this is the 3rd time I've seen GH try to stack Ancients, and it hasn't worked. Rewards GH.
Goes on the GH. Whoa! Lovely little touch from Laguna there from Relball. Some very smart moves there from the Storm. Plays in a way to bait out the Light Striker, and then also dodging the damage of the Laguna. I mean, this Storm knows what he's doing. You know, it was the second pick. Maybe this is sort of the magical power that Winstrike is going to rely on. So very, very excited to see what sort of cool moves Relball can pull out this game. That was maybe a sign of things to come.
Yeah, they're getting a lot of space on the map to farm. Like DK Focus, he's doing. I love that he's up here, not trying to like move around the lanes. He's just staying top, forcing the wave in to force Miracle to come back up there to address it. They're doing a good job here.
Try and go for DK Focus. We are. And Miracle. Have they got the damage? I mean, they do. You said, you know, the fact that they've already got so many stuns and with that Atos thrown into the mix, it's just so much catch and lockdown. Yamich, he tries to hookshot his way out, but he's off the mark, doesn't quite reach his target. That'll be another casualty without picking up yet another kill. And Miracle can be farming uninterrupted.
It's huge that they can. I mean, they're making this Timber just not look tanky at all. And you know, I know how people always talk about how, you know, you have your reactive armor stacks and everything when you're playing versus Viper, which is great. Like, once the nether toxin is down, you still already have those armor stacks. But the thing that Viper also provides you is 9% magic resistance per poison attack.
Oh, yeah.
So Lena Snapfire, like, you still eat the Timber Saw, even if he does have some stacks up. That magic resistance. That's so important. And my control just he's been freely farming, no pressure bottom, so he pretty much has,
Radiant's bottom tower
Blink if
is
he'd like to
under
go
attack.
for it almost soon. Thought he might go for the Greek build this game. But just wants to have that good initiation, because they're lacking that a little bit.
Yeah, pretty... not a bad game to look for damage. They're going to try with the Laguna. Is it enough? The stuns again. Too many things to hold back this Timber. Every time DK Fogas is trying to Timber chain away, there's always something else that Nigma have ready to throw out. Keep him out of position bottom lane. They try and going on to mind control. Skewers the man to the side. Will top the RP to try and keep himself alive here, but Rebel's still a mana to hunt with. Finding mind control, go TP anything to stop it in time. There is a mind control, makes it away.
And again, beginning aggressive with
The Spectre. He's got a haunt out. Where's he going to go? He's going to jump over towards Miracle. Miracle's got the stun. He's going to go for the TP out, and that'll do it. Plays it smart, but does mean that haunt has been used.
The time that they just killed the Timber, by the way, in mid, he had just picked up Hood and Ring Drop. So that was his very tanky portion that we would see him, and they bursted him right through.
Oh, he actually had them on him.
He had them both during that, and he activated them, and they killed him right through it. So we're seeing Timber Saw not going to be an issue. Very concerned for their front line. There's so many different forms of damage that Nigma has.
Because the problem is as well for this Timber is just the amount of stun and control, and to that point, what do you sort of build on it? I guess the only sort of item would be the I mean, you're right, yeah, he skewed it up. Without the yours, it just feels unplayable. You know, he gets caught by one of these lockdowns, gets caught by an ATOS, it's just that much holding control, and at least until, you know, some of the supports start being able to pick up items for something to just sort of break people out of these combos. There's just going to continue to delete heroes when they're on top of them. Regen. It's going to be... very nice. Having a little bit of a dance there, Elbow, in and out. He's got it.
He's going to... Okay, he's going to get close to his Orchid, but this is full aggressive that he's going here, so he can be punished by the stuns. Bottom. They got him.
Nigma's heroes are just so good at killing people. They're just so good.
That's why he
the kills.
That's why my control didn't go back. They have Weehaw. Weehaw has a full one finished up. This is quite a big timing.
Radiant's
6k gold lead.
is under attack. Radiant's
Not
bottom
feeling a lot
tower
of
has
hope
fallen.
here for Winstrike in the next few moments. Them just running straight into Nigma isn't going to work. They have to try to get some takeoffs here. Nigma's not giving them the chances.
And just the thing as well is,
Radiant's bottom tower
sure you
is
got a
under
Spectre,
attack.
but there is this Viper, and sometimes I think you can sort of ignore that if the Viper is, you know, if the Viper's very killable, if he's under the farm, you're able to take him out at the start of the fight, or there's not a lot of stuns that are going to hold him in the break. But this time, Nigma's got both of that. Weehaw is incredibly farmed this game, and they do have the stuns to keep that Spectre held to position. So short man's going to help a little bit, but maybe to the point where the Spectre has like a BKB, which may be necessary. These fights are not going to get easy anytime soon.
Miracle, they get the pull on him bottom. Gets the right pull. He's actually going to get killed down here.
He is. They got the hook shot in on him. He's trapped in the cogs. And Dive Boy uses the supernova as well to try and bring Miracle down. It's taken a lot, but they will have him. Surely they should rumble. Continue one more hit. He's able to get it. And now, Nigma actually doing some counter plays. There's a blink and an RP ready. There it is. Mind control straight out. Two of them cookie follow-up. And they first roll, but the fuel locked down is there. He's not mad. He gets on the trying to come across to help out. Mind control with the focus. There's the Laguna for GH. Burst out the storm. The run of Atos and the kisses coming down onto the Gonzalez. As 3 go down on Winstrike. May have lost Miracle, but costing them lots of lives themselves.
Dire's top tower is under attack.
They barely even got Miracle because how tanky he is. Jesus, he actually ran back into the supernova stun. He might have been okay if he cut up into the right. Maybe. Still a little bit of mana on the storm, but yeah, backup arrives, and that's where we see the real power of Nigma. So every time, it's too much rallied around Weehaw. He's way too strong. I feel like it's going to be like that for quite a long time in this game. Like you said, the plethora of stuns just with the break, it's too much. The Atos and the Chain Stun just counter all 3 cores. The Storm, the Spectre, the Timber Saw. These heroes actually rely quite a bit around that mobility. so many different ways to prevent it on Nigma.
I mean, I'm excited to see, you know, if Rebel's able to get away with this. You know, he doesn't want to build these defensive items. He still wants to go for sort of that, you know, the dream items on a Storm. You know, if the game's good, this is what they want to get, the Orchid and Bloodstone. But of course, does leave you vulnerable. So Rebel's going to have to be very careful with the moves that he does make if he wants to try and get away with his item build. Mid Nigma to take away the tier 1. See if Winstrike maybe can at least get the deny.
Fire Spirits are messing with him quite a bit.
Radiant's middle
The
tower
tower's gone
is
down.
falling.
Now with the jump forward by John, this is the steal opportunity. They're gonna have to zip in actually, straight away the Storm. He just went right in. Oh, he's gone in. With the walls come out, they have managed to kill GH Ironman, also delivered off the fairy fire. Super overstand doesn't live on the two of them. Ironman will burn down to the Sunray. Leon turns over the walls to Carlos. He's out with an Atos. Can't quite reach with it. Maybe he can get the Atos onto the Timber. They're up to the high ground. Nigma's still chasing here. Just got to get the rest of them out.
Radiant's middle tower is under
Job
attack.
up in a second.
Still have God Strength for quite some time.
Strike,
But
sorry,
they-
yeah, they're not going to damage the tower. I mean, well, Winstrike, they are able to get the 2 supports, but I mean, you saw there, it just cost the Storm his life. He just initiated, went straight into the midst of them all, and that's never going to be a play you're going to get away with.
It cost him his life and every single one of their ults. That's the thing, is like Nigma, they only had to use God Strength. They didn't have the RP available just yet. To see how hard they commit onto GH really shows the target priority. They want this Lina so bad. There's every single spell thrown onto her. They're actually lucky that the egg even survived. The position that it was in. I thought maybe the Snapfire might be able to turn and kill it too. But that was everything expended. Nigma, they have everything available for themselves here for the next fight. Strike.
And we are set up with the Invis. If they can buy time for Miracle to swing across and have the Atos into the stun, probably will have the damage. Oh, actually quite early with the stun there. But that doesn't matter. Enough poison, ticks down the Firebird. Carlos falls again.
Good old reliable Weehaw Viper. 7-1-5. Pretty much has Greaves done and really lacking to see the damage, where the damage is going to come from on Winstrike. It's going to take a lot of levels here for this Phoenix in particular to be able to contribute that one, because it's really just such a hard game for their 3 cores.
And you know, the alignments being found here. We are always getting the Dream one as a Viper. He's got the Grove Bow, always fun to play with. We got Smoke's being picked up from Dekalis. I mean, a Winstrike, are they able to sort of make a move aggressively? It seems hard because most of the time Nigma, you know, they're not splitting up. They're always behind one another.
It does not feel easy for them to take fights at all. Like with Haunt and with Storm Spirit, they can always pick and choose who they initiate on.
Yeah,
Right?
they get on the supports, right? Maybe, you know, as we saw last time, right? They can jump GH, RMN, get these 2 kills, and
But
the problems begin.
Yeah, killing the core is like, how do you kill the Viper and how do you kill the Sven ever? You have to isolate them somehow here, but they're so damn tanky, and they're hitting hard. They will kill the rest of your lineup in the time that it takes you to kill the support. So yeah, it's very tough for Winstrike early in these next few fights. Nice little hook away.
Out of range of that.
And
Atos
now-
in time.
And now in the easiest setup for Nigma, as they were kind of lacking this before. They had the Atos, they had the chain stunts, but now they have a Yules on GH with this cast range talent, with the Aether Lens. Anyone who shows now in a lane, you're gonna get full comboed up. So much easier for them to connect everything. If Miracle's not there, that is.
And we're seeing Winstrike making some amends to their cute opponents. I mean, Rebel, he is going to get the BKB next. I mean, he has to. There would have been no way he gets away with Water Bloodstone.
I feel like maybe the 3 of them need to get the 3 cores as Mitch. That's the Yules. As soon as they get it, Clockwork shows. It's an easy kill. Yeah, it feels like maybe all 3 cores need BKB. Maybe not Timber because like,
Radiant's bottom tower
that feels
is under
horrible.
attack.
But
I mean, sure, but-
Spectre.
Yeah, sure, yeah, as you say, you don't want to buy BKB on Timber, but it is definitely one of those games where Yules is not going to feel like enough. You know, at the end of the day, this is going to be a game where Timbers and Yules is only going to save him until the next stun comes in when he ends up winning off the back of it. So.
Yeah, I think he needs to go for a hit like a Lotus Orb though or something. It's not. The game isn't about him, right? It's about protecting the Spectre. So you know, you don't want your BKB coming to throw on yours. He'll probably have Yules into that item really soon.
Yeah, this perspective, of course. Just go for that BKB straight off the man. The game is pretty much unplayable without that BKB for the Spectre. So yeah, on the back here, the replay of earlier is moved down bottom where It's just getting harder and harder, these fights. Winstrike, they're able to throw everything in, get a kill. Deficit they're at. More than enough resources on Nigma for them to get the cleanup each and every time. Up 17-5 here, just a 21 minutes in with a 9k advantage. Pretty rough for Winstrike.
Yeah, it looks so hard to ever bring down Miracle. Level 18 BKB, Halberd even finished up. Now he's got a Hyperstone on his way toward AC. Like, this Sven, they don't have the damage. Unless he's fully isolated somehow in the fight with like Sunray beaming on with Timber after BKB, it doesn't feel like he's gonna die. He has such a good rally of team around him with the creeps and everything.
Radiant's middle tower is under attack.
Winstrike dodging, trying to get as much as they can on the map right now. Phoenix almost level 12. He's trying to get that one. Might get set up on though. GH is keeping in with the Yules.
Radiant's middle tower has fallen. It's not the heat, it's the Dire's top tower is under
As well, Roche is up. Taking, so they're going to be able to go for this. I mean, unless we see some crazy plays from Rel. What you want to do? So he is around in the neighborhood. He's trying to finish off this tier 2. Fortification comes out. Let's see if they're again. He sort of read on. They have got the rocket flare, so you know there's a potential. There's a potential for lightning.
Go for it, Clockwork.
Rebel,
You better go for damage. Yamich
you
isn't
have to.
I believe in you.
Oh, disappointment all
Dire's
round.
top
He'll
tower
get it
is
covered
under
though.
attack.
Oh, will he even get it? Oh no, he doesn't even get the courier. Oh, that feels bad.
Oh, he's hiding though. But they saw him hiding.
They know.
There's a sentry available.
Oh.
Oh, space.
He's got a
Space for
TP.
days.
He's going to be out. I think he's fine, right? GH wants to go another sentry if he wants to try and hunt for him in the trees. Does he want to spend time doing this? Oh, yes, he does. Oh,
he
found
does.
him. He's got him immediately. Straight up the light strikes upon him. Actually messes up the Yules combo there. But it doesn't matter.
This is not Laguna.
Dire's bottom tower
GH,
is
such a
under
nice
attack.
guy that he doesn't want you to get hurt by his ultimate. He's like, look, mate, I've got a Laguna, yeah, but I'll save you at the same time. What a guy, GH.
I had GH in one of my pubs the other day.
Yeah.
We fed out of
Dire's
control
bottom
together.
tower
He was so
is under
ugly about it
attack.
though.
Oh. Meanwhile, the rest of the team.
Dire's
Actually, the other
bottom
team, the
tower
rest of the team was
They're
super
chill.
lovely too.
Oh, that's
Who was on our team actually? I think we had PPD and someone else. It was a disaster of a game, just to say the least.
Dire's bottom tower is under
That sounds
attack.
like a nice game, though. Everyone's
Radiant's
having
top
fun.
tower is under
Yeah, Ron
attack.
was feeding out of control in mid-mode too. One of those games. Nigma still firm grasp of this game with Aegis here. God's Strength about to be available too. Might knock on high ground. Might force them back to base. Rebels trying to cut creep waves the best he can, trying to get time for these BKBs. Getting closer to the two of them. Spectre and Storm. That's going to be kind of their last hurrah. We see the Timber also queuing up for that Lotus. So those things that we're talking about in preparation will be coming, but can they break this? Can they stop this fight?
I don't know if they're going to be coming quick enough. This tier 3 tower being destroyed here by the God Strength. As what have you got, Winstrike? How can you stop this? Heals up on the Sven. The kisses are coming out, keeping Winstrike back. And given the space for Miracle to finish this one up, 24 minutes in. That's the melee ranks out. Radiant's range ranks to go down as well, and Winstrike just not with the tools to stop it. In fact, they're just going to start running onto DK Boga. As the sentry will be popped down. Big zip from Ralph. Dip out, and nobody he can really try and focus his efforts upon. As Nigma will just take the racks back off and keep up them anything at all. They don't lose anyone, or maybe now. Number 10 with the ult to set things up. Horn's going to come into play as well. Aggressive child, who's he going to look for? He's over the but he's going to be used up. He's going to get shot to pop, but he isn't. Dead to break upon the BKB. Miracle heads up to the whatever with a little center. They take it out the egg. Relball zipping in, trying to find some sort of kill. He's not going to get it. RP down onto Yamage. As Winstrike, they try their best to throw everything into that. They don't get anything. And Spectre, always the situation you hate to be in as the carry. He didn't press his BKB. He didn't get to. He felt he could hold it, but the problem is that there's so many stuns that you've got to be very prepared with the BKB to the point you've probably got a BKB before you even jump into the illusion of this game as the Spectre. Otherwise, Nigma's going to have you every time.
he got used, and he didn't pop it on the drop. Like usually you have a server tick in order to get the BKB off before you get stunned. He didn't pop it. He got stunned and just gets chained and destroyed.
Oh, yeah, that's true. Yeah, he would definitely have had, if he was spamming on Yules, he could have got it off. So I guess he just. Yeah.
Maybe it was. Maybe like sometimes you can have situations where it is like absolutely frame perfect. You almost.
No, I don't.
No,
if it's on the same tick, BKB
you always get the
priority.
BK. Yeah, it always has priority. Exactly. So he must have not clicked it.
Yeah.
They went for the chase out though. Like they saw Gotch sending BKB. I believe were for this. Actually, no, it's just shit was ending. They tried to chase out because Spectre had BKB, but still didn't. Rebel couldn't actually continue chasing with the Spectre to commit, and then it actually looks like a really bad mistake of them chasing out there and getting wiped. All the way up to 60.
Hey, but might get to Ironman. They found him. Ironman. He's never going. He's going to live. He's going to be able to walk away now.
Dire's middle tower
He's got a
is
little
under attack.
bit left on the mana pool. BKB. He's able to zip the team out. Yeah, not even able to kill these supports now, so they're falling that far behind.
Way up on the high ground. Being focused, getting set up. We'll be okay.
Let's get to that point of the game as well, where Miracle's nearly doubled the net worth of the enemy carry. Aggressive Charles Spectre. And
he's got the eggs. Yeah, Superman's about to be online. Yep.
Oh, yeah. And he's finding all the items. So we'll see if we'll stick with the spider legs. Could take the Great Fire and fire. That's always a lovely bit of extra damage. And fine sliver also for Nigma. So many options for Weehar to choose. Well, Weehar and to choose between what Weehar got the money. Okay, he's going to keep the time. No, he's going to grow as well as all this. Always going to have a bit of a soft spot. But
oh, we had just 8-toast that creepy god good.
Dire's middle tower
He's
is
trying to
under
get Rebel.
attack.
Pushing lanes out, they're like trying to get any type of farm here, and there it is. Miracle and Aghanim's coming out on the courier. Mid, Rebel.
oh, he's going to hop it. Mind Control's thinking about. He was thinking about jumping this.
Just watching him still.
He might still do it. Yeah, he's able to get him. RP, screw him back. Into the light strike. Kills a good one. Rebel goes down. And so, pretty much a stomp continues here. I mean, Enigma's lineup, they really did just have, they have so many killers. They have loads of heroes that can just make plays. All these stuns. I mean, comparatively as well to Strike, they don't really have too many sort of stuns, knockdown themselves. It's down to Vortex and the hook shot, really, from their team.
And the hook shot, the hook block, more than 10. You know, that top lane was nice. Neither was the mid game. He had nowhere to go. And now the interactions are just dead. You have to watch them die. You can't actually fight without Storm.
Radiant's middle barracks is falling.
Miracle, he was ready to run back in it. He's done, and he's going to put the BKB, gets straight on with it. Over he goes towards DK Boga. So Will going to split over top now. Facing forward, the whole circle of this road. But he's turning, feeding in the storm. Now he jumps over towards the illusion. Miracle, he's getting low. Will goes down. They're able to kill the... As, I mean... Alright, man, I have to get the ult down too here. See if he can pick some up off the escape with this mind control. But, and it's off! Nigma still having a poke. They know how strong they are. Without the Sven. Rebel TPing back in. And zip in on this whilst they retreat. But he's not going to try and chase. So a little bit of something. You know, it's finally died here as the Sven. I can't really feel that was just sort of Miracle messing around and feeling that it did this. He did try and jump back in on very low HP.
Still around this area. They're expecting to smoke out. They're still very strong.
Double, Storm, sit back, time, he goes down, you'll take them into the right direction, you have to run up with Brett Chance, that's a match up there, the pop in, he turns, you'll up the edge as well, Brett Chance still alive, this sunrise going to be brutal, we are going to go down, and also going to get burst. Look at that here, the Winstrike. They're able to, they basically get them all there, only Mind Control able to escape. They're still down,
scanning.
but No.
They did not give respect to the
No, they didn't.
version
Well, I
of the
think-
sun right here.
Well, I think as well in particular, Miracle did not give respect. That move from him in the mid, he did not need to go in on low HP. He did. He wanted to fool around, but it did end up giving quite a bit of money and XP over towards Winstrike off that feed, and of course the subsequent team fight that the rest of the team was unable to take.
Small signs of life. They need a couple more of those in this game, but it's a decent start. All of Nigma, they're gonna respawn. We have Roshan in about 30 seconds. That's gonna be the next big one, and we'll have all their ults available. Yeah, I mean, Winstrike will have everything available if they want to try to take a fight around there.
Do you think you do? If you Winstrike, is that your best shot, trying to go for the Roche fight, or would you wait for the base push?
I think you have to. I don't think you can let them hit your base with Aegis and Cheese and everything. They can just commit for the buildings at that point, and you might just, you know, BKB Sven hitting your buildings, you might get megged before you can actually fully initiate. Nigma looking to fight before it though, getting the ward on the high ground.
See what they get with the smoke. Oh, Rebel teasing around the high ground. Smoke will be dispelled on Miracle though, so they're well aware of what's happening here. Winstrike, they'll be able to split up. Away from this one.
They're getting pushed away from the Vrosh though, and now Weeha's gonna start it.
They've got to try and get back here soon. Rebel there in the base, healing up on the mana front. And of course, he's to be back for this, so it's going to take a little bit of time to get over here. Smoke is going to make the movement. They do.
They have
Pokes up.
Radiant's bottom tower
Spectre's
is under
very
It's
attack.
going down low. It's going down
only
quickly.
has 300 mana too, he just has a harm.
They've got to do a good hook shot here. Mike trying to block it up. The road is falling low. They're going to try and 7 a down here. Every get everything they're not going out. Dual rush out. Aegis and she's going that way as well. But mind control will go down. On top, the super going to take it. Get out. They're Bogas and the rest of the crowd jumping over the walls and then RF is in trouble and looking to bring it down, but it's mind control. Finishing it off with the RP onto the children. As they'll all go down. A chopping cord. And Nigma, quite a few little county players towards the end, they will be able to keep it close as this game does indeed still end sort of the stomp that it started off first. 31 to 10, 64k lead for Nigma. And Winstrike just, I don't, what would you sort of say?